They called him Jesus. He came to love, heal and forgive. He lived and died to buy my pardon. An empty grave is there to prove my Savior lives. Because He lives, I can face tomorrow. Because He lives, all fear is gone. Because I know who holds the future, and life is worth the living just because He lives.
Well, hello. I didn't get nothing back on the on Genesis, so I'm just going to go on, and I'm going to go ahead and start reading Leviticus. It really didn't matter to nobody, which that's all good. We don't care. Now, the first chapter, part of it is genealogy to start off with. So, chapter 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all these souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. And Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all the generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel is more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out of any war, they join also unto into our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Moreover, they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasures, cities, Pitiums, and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they abundantly grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spoke to the Hebrew midwife, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other was Puah. And he said, When ye go to the office of the midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stool, that it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. So all the boys are supposed to die. They want them to kill the boys. 17. But the midwife feared God, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men's children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, Why have you done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwife said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwife come in unto them. Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied, and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all the people, saying, Every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive. Now we're on verse 2. Chapter 2. Da-da-da-da! And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took a wife, a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bore a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took him an ark of brandlerush, and dubbed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein, and she laid it in the flag by the river bank. And his sister stood afar off, and wait what would be done of him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the riverside. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw a child, and behold, the baby wept, and she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrew children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the woman took the child and nursed it. Number 10. And the child grew, and she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water. 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moses was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way. And when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said unto them that did the wrong, Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intend thou to kill me, as thou killest the Egyptian? And Moses feared, and said, Surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moses, but Moses fled from the face of Pharaoh, and dwelt in the land of Midian. And he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the trough of water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moses stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they come to Reuben, their father, he said, How is it that you are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hands of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And there is he, and where is he? Why is it that ye have left the men? call him, that he may eat bread. And Moses was content to dwell with the man. And he gave Moses Zipporah his daughter, and she bore him a son, and called his name Gershom. For he said, I have seen a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass in the process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto God by the reason of bondage. And God heard their groaning. And God remembered his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. Now, this is where they are in bondage. And they, from the sounds of it, they are in worse bondage that we are. Like I said, a slave that does not know it's a slave and is a good slave. So that's the way I see this in America now. Now, I want you to break down Moses. Moses has us in it. Moses. So think about us on that one. All right, let's see how far. Let's go ahead and read 3 as well. Now Moses kept the flocks of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flocks to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of God, even to Horeb. And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. Now, I want y'all to think back about the movie that they had out of Moses. I'm pretty sure most of y'all have done seen that. And I want you to look at the way that they portrayed it and the way the Bible actually says happens. It doesn't say anything that the burning bush was upon the mountain. He said he was by the mountain. Okay? Now, number 3. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. All right, let me let this cat out again. Every time. Oh, cat. There you go. Go on. Nope. All right. You just messed me up, didn't you? Nope. You're not going out now. I ain't doing that. Number 5. And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off the shoe from off thy feet, for the place thou art standing is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon God. And the Lord said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt, and I have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hands of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of the land into good land, and a large unto the land, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, hold the cry of the children of Israel is coming to me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. And Moses said unto God, Who am I, that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? Now, I want you to pay attention that in the movie, he did not do that. Okay. 12. And he said, certainly I will be with thee, and this shall be taken a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, ye shall serve God upon this mountain. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, the God of your father hath sent me unto you, and they shall say unto me, what is his name? What shall I say unto them? And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. Now, I want y'all to pay attention right here. Now, this is Exodus 3 and 14. I am that I am. Okay, I'm going to finish the verse 14. Thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. And God said moreover to Moses, thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, the Lord God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generation. Go gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, the Lord God of your father, and the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and of Jacob, appeared unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen which is done unto you in the Egyptians. And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt into the land of Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hittites, and the Jebusites, unto the land flowing with milk and honey. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, and all the kings of Egypt, and ye shall say unto them, the Lord God of the Hebrews had met with us, and now let us go, and we beseech thee, 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. And I sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not for a mighty hand. So in other words, he's saying, look, it's going to take a mighty hand before he will let you go. 20. And I will stretch out my hand and smite the Egyptians with all wonders which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptian. And it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty. In other words, you're going to come out of there with something. 22 in the last verse. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor and of her that sojourn in her house jewelry and silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And ye shall put them upon your sons and your daughters, and ye shall spoil the Egyptians. All right, now I want you to notice that you will spoil the Egyptians. Okay? Now, on our earth now, spoil means to get and have plenty of. But if you get it, the definition from the Bible, spoil means to take away from, to take it. And that's what they're doing with this jewelry, is they're taking it from the Egyptians. And they're, well, we can't say it's stealing because it belongs to God. Everything belongs to God. So we can't say it's stealing, but we can say that if we switched it the way today is, the Hebrews took off the Egyptians and the Hebrews were spoiled. So, I mean, that's the way you would look at it today. So, that is the end of it for today. And I think we'll come back to the 4 next time. And I will see you then. So let's mark my spot and turn my page. This is how to donate to my PayPal. You come down here to Poor Man's Sewing, and you mash on Poor Man's Sewing. Then you go over here to About. You mash on About, and right here is to donate to Poor Man's Sewing.